Hi everyone, I'm going to do a book review today on Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. This is my first book of his I have ever read, which is kind of surprising considering I have read, I guess not a lot of fantasy, but I'm not new to the fantasy realm. I will say right off the bat, I did not get into this book until I hit about chapter 13, 14. And then I felt like it finally picked up some more speed and some more excitement. And that's when I really started to enjoy it and get into it. Our main character is Ven. She is about 17 years old in the beginning of this story. She is a thief. She lives in the gutters. She's called a Sar, which is basically like the bottom of the barrel in this society. And everything is run by the Lord Ruler, who supposedly in the past killed like a demon, or he did something crazy where he saved the world, is what the rumor is. But he's not a good ruler. He's actually quite terrible, and he kills a lot of other Sars, or like the low citizens, and he's just a bad guy, right? He's our main villain. So Ven lives in a thieves guild, and one day her boss takes her on a job because she has this talent where she's able to soothe people's emotions. She doesn't necessarily know why or how she can do it, but she knows she can. And this leads to her getting found by the main male character named Kelsier, who is not a love interest. Let me get that out there right off the bat. He is more like a father figure, and he goes to teach her that she's a Mistborn and that she's actually able to use metal or different kinds of metals around her that she can either eat or she can use to like push or pull to influence people's feelings and thoughts, or she could use different metals to be able to sense where other people are who have like some abilities like her. To me, this was different because most of the fantasy stories I have read, the magic part of it is not as complex as this one, so it was kind of confusing because there's like 10 or 11 different metals that do different things. So I was there was a lot of times where I was confused, but luckily along the way, he will sit there and he will say, you know, they're using steel to push or pull. They're using, you know, copper to do this, that, or the other, or, you know, so at least along the way, he keeps reminding you what the metals do, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to remember, honestly. So you have Ven meeting Kelsier. He takes her under his wing, teaches her all this stuff about being a Mistborn, and his plan is to overthrow the Lord Ruler. He's already got an army being built. He's got people on his side. He's infiltrated like the high society and has someone in place there. So his plan is to put Ven as that high society's dude's niece, who came from the country. So it's Ven's job to infiltrate these balls and parties and events and blend in with the crowd and get information about what's going on within the different families. Like, you find out like one family killed another family, another one's selling weapons to a different family, like stuff like that. So she's like the little mole that's in high society. But when she goes there, you know, she ends up liking a dude who's really high up, and everybody who she's working with is against it because she's a Sar and a Mistborn, and they're part of the rebellion. Part of the rebellion is taking down high society and the Lord Ruler. So they're like, no, that's bad. He's gonna like treat you badly. They're all bad people, this, that, and the other. And a lot of the high society is, just so you know, but I digress. On top of that, there's these crazy creatures, or humanoid creatures, who are very powerful. They use magic as well, but they have like giant spikes poking out of their eyeballs. And whenever it's described, it's terrifying because they have steel spikes poking out of their eyes, but they can still see. They know where you are, so they're able to attack people as they're trying to dip and dive, right? So I will say it was a good story. It's the first in, I think, a series of 6 different books, 5 or 6. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to continue on with this series at this moment, but I might. Again, if you read this, you really need to just kind of try and tough it out until chapter 14 or 15, which I know sounds like a lot, but I think it's worth it once you get past that hump, because most stories, and especially for a series, usually the first book is a lot of information and a lot of world building, so you know what everything looks like and how everything works. So I understand that for the first book in a series, he has to put in all this information as much as he can without making it just be poopy, right? So I get that it's going to be a little slow, but he makes up for it towards like the middle-ish end, and it goes really well. I really liked the ending as well because it wasn't something that I was expecting. There were at least 2 or 3 different twists in there where I was just like, oh, like, well, that happened, and then, you know, the other stuff, it's really good. So you get 3 different plot twists, not plot twists, but you get like 3 different like twists within the last 3-4 chapters where you're like, wow, like, it's good. Okay, once you get to the end, once you get there. So I did enjoy it, and I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.